Coming up with a new additional record show. We got Sixers talk. What's gonna happen to Joel Embiid and why it was a smart move to draft Okafor. We got Phillies talk, a new GM just hired in a couple weeks ago. Some NFL, some Penn State. We just got lots to talk about. And now your host, Lowell Record. Good evening, sports fans. This is Lowell Record, and welcome to another edition of the Lowell Record Show. Been a while since I've done one. We got Sixers, we got Phillies, we got some Eagles, or slash NFL, not necessarily Eagles. World Cup. We're gonna lead off with that tonight, and some Penn State and some NCAA football news. But we'll start with World Cup first. That was the last two games of the women. Pretty phenomenal stuff, especially Carly Lloyd pretty much put the team on her back, especially in the last game, 3 goals in 16 minutes. And your women's team is the World Cup champion, the first one since '99. You got to give Coach Joe Kelly some credit by not starting Abby Wambach and bringing her in, making some of them moves. And the last 2 games, I think it's Carly Lloyd's team going forward. Dominant performance. The defense pretty much carried them throughout the tournament, and they were just looking for a breakout game. The game against Germany was you consider a breakout, shut 2-0, but they saved their best for last against Japan, and pretty much dominated them start to finish. Hope Solo really wasn't tested throughout the tournament except the game 1 against Australia, but just a phenomenal job by the Americans, and they were being criticized throughout the tournament, not scoring enough. But hey, when your defense is shutting people down, it don't matter in any sport. If your defense is shutting people down, don't need to score many points. As long as you're putting points on the board, you're gonna win majority of the time. My philosophy is, look, I agree with the offense wins games, but I believe defense does win championships. If you can shut teams down, you don't really have to do much. So, like, congratulations to the Women's World Cup team on winning the World Cup. Now we'll move on to the Sixers. Just announced a couple hours ago. The top first round pick of the Sixers, Joel Embiid. He missed last year with a foot injury. He had surgery done. Was progressing nicely, but here last week had a setback. And now the Sixers announced tonight he needs surgery and will miss another season. So he'll miss 2 years. He haven't played since 2014, and he did miss the NCAA tournament at Kansas ever since March of February 2014. He hasn't played. Not good, as they were looking as Embiid and Nerlens Noel as a building block going forward. Which now leads to this year why they drafted Okafor from Duke. Now that was a smart pick. Not only best available, but it fills a need as well as Embiid's out, and Embiid's future is definitely in doubt whether he'll not play again. That's coming from the Sixers as well. So I feel bad for him because I did like him at Kansas as a center. He was dominant. I really liked how he played defense, and he had good footwork in the paint. Just a shame it hasn't worked out for him. But now looking back, yes, Sixers still need a point guard. They need some shooting. But now you can look at Nerlens Noel and Jarrell Okafor as your building block for next year and years to come. But then one of the an analyst on ESPN brings a point. Do you give him that 4 year option for in year 4? Do you give him that player option or not? Because you don't know if he's gonna come back or not. So that puts the Sixers in a tough spot moving forward. So we'll see. We'll see. Uh, Enough on that. We'll move on to the Phillies here. Cole Hamels probably had his worst pitching performance last night, giving up 9 runs in 4 innings. And they got pummeled 15-2 by the Giants, and an old friend, Hunter Pence, with a grand slam, break that game wide open yesterday. I don't know how now you can trade Cole Hamels. Uh, Howard's going to be tough coming off. Nobody wants him, but yet the Phillies are still willing to eat most of his salary. Uh, Chooch, he's done. And also earlier this week, they announced that Cesar Hernandez will be the regular second baseman when Utley comes off the disabled list. Uh, so all those guys are I just don't know what the Phillies are gonna do. They did announce over a week ago Andy McPhail as the new after the 2015 season's over, he will be the new president of the Phillies, and that's a good hire. He has has a World Series ring with the Twins. Helped build the Orioles as to how they are now. He's the one that brought in Buck Showalter, and he's seeing the fruits of the labor there in Baltimore. And that means that Ruben Amaro, in his last year of his contract, is I think if you're gonna get rid of him now, because he just made bonehead after bonehead move since he took over from Pat Gillick as the general manager. But we'll see what happens there. And also, they did announce that Aaron Nola, though sometime in end of July, will be brought up. I want to see what he's got. He's been pitching very well in Lehigh Valley. I think it's also I think they should bring up J.P. Crawford, Eakiel and Quinn, Eiffel and Quinn. Excuse me. Get all them boys up, then because you have Franco, Cesar Hernandez, and bring them up and show them what you can do. And they also needed what are they going to do with Darren Ruff? They need to make a decision. Are you going to play him in the outfield? Or are you going to bring him in at first base and somehow release Ryan Howard after the season's over and have Ruff as your regular first baseman? They got some tough choices to make there. So that's all here in the first part of the show when we come back. When we come back, we're going to talk some Eagles and NFL, not necessarily that order, and also some NCAA football. A lot's been going down at Florida State, and a kicker. We're talking about Penn State. They got the #1 kicker in the country for next year's recruiting class. We'll discuss that, what that means for Penn State. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL. Greg Hardy, we're going to talk about that. And also, this week we should hear what they're going to do about Tom Brady. So that should be interesting. This is the Lowell Record Show, Lowell Record Network. We'll be right back in a few minutes. See you later.